If you're hyped about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 and all the leaks, updates, and insider info surrounding it, then you've landed on the perfect video. Today, we're diving deep into some important developments around the Switch 2's launch, its game compatibility, patch requirements, retail rollout, and everything in between. Let's crush the misinformation and clickbait that's been floating around, because there's plenty of it. This video will give you the real picture of what's going on with Nintendo's next-gen console. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let's jump straight into the latest Nintendo Switch 2 news and updates. No Day 1 patch required for Nintendo Switch 2 games. Myth busted. Let's begin with the hot topic that's been confusing gamers and content creators alike. Will the Nintendo Switch 2 require a Day 1 patch just to function or play games? The short answer, no. And now we have reliable confirmation backing that up. Recently, a known source in the gaming scene, Necro Felipe, posted images and shared information confirming that Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games like a re-release of The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Edition and Mario Kart World will not require a Day 1 patch to run. This is huge news and puts a lot of rumors to rest. Now to be clear, this does not mean there won't be a Day 1 patch at all. There will be one, but only for certain features, particularly if you plan on using backward compatibility for Nintendo Switch 1 games or enabling system-level features that may be online dependent. Understanding what the Day 1 patch actually does, let's clear up the confusion around Day 1 patches. A lot of people ran with the headline that the Switch 2 would be unusable without an internet connection, and that's just false. In reality, most modern consoles, including PS5, Xbox Series X, and even the original Nintendo Switch, have required initial updates for certain features. For instance, the OG Switch needed a patch to support microSD cards on launch day. Similarly, if you're bringing over digital games, profiles, or cloud saves from the original Switch to the Switch 2, you'll need to be connected to the internet. But playing new Switch 2 games straight off the cartridge? You're good to go without any patch. So all that online rage bait about the console being dead on arrival without an internet connection? Total nonsense. Switch 2 and backward compatibility. What you need to know, one of the biggest selling points of the Nintendo Switch 2 is its backward compatibility. Yes, you'll be able to play a large library of Switch 1 games, but here's the catch. Backward compatibility relies on software emulation, not native hardware. And that's why you'll need a Day 1 patch to enable it. Nintendo has reportedly been fine-tuning and updating the compatibility software regularly. There will be future updates improving support for more games and ironing out performance bugs. For now, expect that some older titles may not work perfectly, but support will get better over time. This isn't unusual. It's the same strategy Microsoft used when building Xbox backwards compatibility into Series X and Series S. It's an evolving feature. Massive retail floor space. Major confidence in Switch 2. Launch moving from the digital world into the physical one. Let's talk about what's happening at major retailers like Walmart and Best Buy. Multiple reports now confirm that Switch 2 is being given priority placement in retail spaces, even pushing aside PlayStation and Xbox displays. One notable report from Nintendo Prime noted that his local Walmart has reduced the PlayStation section and heavily downsized Xbox areas to make way for Switch 2 promotional materials. We're talking big banners, dedicated kiosks, demo areas, and shelves fully loaded with Switch 2 games, accessories, and promotional content. At Best Buy, it's the same story. One side of the display was already Switch 2 branded, and the opposite side was apparently being prepped for more Switch 2 signage. If retailers are betting this heavily on the console, expect demand to be huge. Retailers aren't making these changes lightly. Floor space is one of the most valuable assets for physical storefronts. For Switch 2 to dominate shelves even before launch? That shows how much confidence the industry has in this console's potential. Marketing strategy. How Nintendo is avoiding consumer confusion. Here's a smart move on Nintendo's part. One of the challenges the company faced with previous hardware rollouts was consumer confusion, especially with names like Wii U that sounded too much like Wii. With the Switch 2, Nintendo is expected to brand clearly and distinctly. Part of that branding includes dedicated floor space, bold signage, and visual clarity for casual shoppers to distinguish it from the original Switch. This marketing push isn't just for hype. It's a crucial step in making sure consumers don't mistakenly buy a Switch 1 thinking it's the latest hardware. That's a mistake Nintendo simply cannot afford this time around, and retailers know it too. Is the Nintendo Switch 2 set to become the next record breaker? There's a lot of speculation about whether the Nintendo Switch 2 can surpass the sales of the original Switch, which has sold over 125 million units globally. Let's be realistic. Only two other consoles in history, the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo DS, have ever reached those numbers. That's incredibly rare air. So will the Switch 2 top it? Even if it doesn't become the best-selling console of all time, the Switch 2 doesn't need to surpass the original to be a major success. With the right support, an extended life cycle, and future iterations like a Switch 2 Pro, it absolutely could climb those charts over the next decade. Think about the PlayStation family: PS3, PS4, PS5. None of them touched PS2's record, but they were still wildly successful in their own right. What about those without internet access? Let's address the question. What if I don't have access to the internet? Will I be locked out? Nope. If you just want to buy the system, pop in a Switch 2 cartridge, and start playing, you're good to go. Now, if you're transferring saves, profiles, or digital games from your old console, yes, you'll need Wi-Fi. But it's 2025. Most people can either use a mobile hotspot, head to a local cafe, or take their portable Switch 2 on the go and get connected. The system is designed with flexibility in mind. No internet outage or lack of home Wi-Fi is going to stop you from enjoying core gameplay on day one.